Om Mani Padme Hum.
Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Hari Om, Om Namah Shivaya. Welcome. Here we're going to focus on how to select your personal yoga mantra. And we'll be specific, and I use these words, personal yoga mantra. So we've been discussing mantra, and in doing this, we've really been discussing yoga mantra. And we had mentioned this in the first of the series as well. Yoga, I had asked Hari, definition of yoga, union with one's highest self. We can also say liberation from what? From being controlled by my lower natures, by my reactive natures, by anger, hatred, fear, lust, greed, etc., by the things I don't wish to be controlled by, and be in alignment with my own highest nature. And so yoga mantra, we're using this because the mantras we're discussing have a very specific purpose. There's so many mantras, countless mantras. In fact, in ancient times, the Mahabharata, from which the Bhagavad Gita is a portion and comes as this great spiritual teaching. Within the Mahabharata, the actual war, if it happened, then it is said that the greatest weapons were mantras. And so we do not wish to use these mantras for yoga. This will not free us. And so we're being very specific about mantras that are known to work for yoga, for freedom, in order to free oneself from one's self, that are known to work. And personal, meaning my yoga mantra. My yoga mantra, what makes it mine? Well, my personality makes it mine. In other words, I have my own personality. Okay, on the outside, I look like this and look like a guy or a girl or old dude or young person or like this. I look like this. The body is what we're speaking of. And then the inner person is the mental, the psychological me. And it's the psychological makeup that gives us this line to my personal mantra. And this is what we're wanting to discuss, how to select my personal mantra, the right mantra for me. Now, we'll discuss the next session is on practice of mantra and practice of Japa Yoga specifically. So we'll focus on how to practice with my personal mantra, yoga mantra, in a way that will free me, initially, just a little bit, it's fine. I can have a few more moments of happiness. Is that okay?
Sure. Sounds great.
Yeah? A few more moments of being not disturbed. Like in the last video, we shared the example of this person, I want to love them instead of be disturbed by all of these thoughts about how terrible they are. Yeah? And we shared an example here in a few minutes, this using the mantra. This dear soul had that experience of being able to love the person instead of being bedeviled by all of these thoughts. So this, but then in the more full sense, complete freedom. Yes. So how to select, and what we're discussing gives us a clue into it. And we'll talk about some of the key aspects of selecting a mantra. And yes, it's fine for you to select your mantra. It's absolutely fine. But we want to provide some provisions that can be helpful for you, that can guide you in the selection of your personal yoga mantra. First is, these yoga mantras exist in every tradition. We were chanting at the lead into this one of the Buddhist mantras for liberation. And this is said to be the mantra of compassion. Compassion is your own highest nature, your own real nature. And this mantra in this tradition would be said to work again with the mind in order to free us of the knots in the personality that are obstructing our access to our own highest nature of compassion. And so it is the diamond in the lotus, like this, of the heart. And Om Mani Padme Hum can open this. This is the purpose. Now, purpose will be the same, Om Mani Padme Hum, or the Jesus prayer in the Christian tradition, which is quite well studied and practiced in the Eastern Orthodox traditions, but also in the Western Christian traditions, such as, a short version is Jesus, Lord, mercy. And this is extolled and very, 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 very powerful. There are many saints in the Christian tradition that have realized through this practice, in modern times as well. I know a few. And then in the Muslim tradition, there are these great vibrational sayings using Allah, Allahu Akbar, for example. So these are mantras as well that are quite efficacious. And then in the yoga tradition, but frankly, every tradition. Here in Sikh, Satnam, Satnam, Satnam. What's the translation? What does Satnam mean? And this is the mantra. Satnam, simply Satnam. Truth is the name. Truth is the name. Sat, truth. The absolute truth is the name. The name is truth, like this. And so all of these are quite efficacious, very beneficial, with the purpose of freeing one from the obsessions of the mind. So the first recommendation is that, according to your own tradition, you would wish to seek mantras, yoga mantras, which are known to work, and we'll use the Western term efficacious. And it's a term that's often used in medicine, and it's referring to medications and how well they work, how efficacious is it. With our group on Sunday, we said something about, if you had a choice, if you had a cold, meaning the body is experiencing a cold, I don't, because I'm not the body. But if the body had a cold and you were to take medicine for the cold, and you were given the choice of a medicine that you knew was efficacious, you knew it worked, and a placebo, which would you choose?
I'd probably choose the one that works.
Hari?
The one that works.
And you, dear? The one that works? So the first provision of selecting your own mantra is to select one that works. For you. One that works. One that is known to work. And the yoga mantras that we're dealing with, the ones that we've been chanting in these intros and outros, the ones that we've just referenced in the different traditions, these are all known to have worked. And how? Well, if we gain access to the teachings that are offered through the saints and sages of the different tradition. What does that mean, saint? It's not someone other than you. Saint just is your future you. It's just that. Essentially, we are one, truly. And yet the saint is simply the one who's worked it out. Somehow they had suffered so intensely that they sought so deeply and strongly for a beneficial way of life, a different way of life, and they had become so broken that the light streamed through the cracks, and some inspiration came, and they heard it, and they began a strong commitment to practice or sadhana, and discovered. And so the saint has the same story as us. That is, they lived the same kind of life as us. They were bad too. They fell down all the time. They smoked, they drank. Oh my goodness, you look at the Christian mystics, so much stuff they did. And then they got sick of themselves. They asked what was greater, or they inquired into the nature of I, and discoveries came, and they followed them, and they came out the other side. And now from the other side, they speak, the side that we want to live on. They speak and they share. And so we always recommend getting to know a saint, having a personal saint as well. Living, yeah, it's possible. In India, there are many. They're around here as well, just meaning someone who's not attached to themselves. Mm-hmm. Someone who's not living for the fulfillment of themselves, their own sense pleasures, their own stuff. Someone who lives for the benefit of all. We could say saintly, helpful. Such a person can be helpful.
One of the things I've heard about the saints and these realized beings is they maybe send ropes down to us.
Oh, yeah. Thank God.
Yeah, and the ropes are the mantras, and they help pull us up to where they are.
Thank you. Thank you, Mukti. Indeed. So, like this. And so the stories of the different saints, we'll find that each of the saints will speak of a mantra, some Ram, for example, some Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya, etc., etc. Here's a story. So Mahatma Gandhi, what happened when Mahatma Gandhi was struck by the assassin's bullets? Some may remember, some may have heard. What happened? Mahatma Gandhi turned, faced the assassin, prostrated, and the last two words, Ram Ram. That was his mantra. Ram Ram. And it was repeated constantly, mentally, until it became the mental substratum. Until instead of fear, anger, or some other state which we would be likely to fall into when something surprising happens, he just continued to rise into Ram Ram when something unexpected happened. And so how to select? Efficacious? It works. According to your own tradition, if you have a tradition that you identify, that you see yourself as part of, if you have a way of relating to the Absolute, if you relate to the Absolute as Divine Mother, beautiful, then a mother mantra. If you relate as Divine Masculine, perfect, a father mantra, like this. Personal relationship is good, helpful. Most of the mantras are personal, what we would call saguna. So,
and we have a list on the Divine Grace Yoga website, and we'll put a link in the description of this video so you can look at a list of suggested mantras with pronunciation. So it might be a good place to get started in exploring your practice.
We have from different traditions, and the other that we would suggest is if you don't have a particular tradition, that is, if you don't see yourself as this or that, or some particular affiliation or some particular alignment, that's fine too. Then best suggestion is explore the yoga mantras. They look like Sanskrit. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Narayana, Om Dum Durgaye Namaha, etc. There are 17 or 18 basic ones that are on the website, and then many, many, many derivatives of them. And those are good exploration. Hari, something to add?
So in the selection of the mantra, should we share it with other people or discuss according to what other people mantra or perceptions of mantras?
Good question. So this is, thank you, Hari. And that gets us into some of what to watch out for. chanting mantra, selecting a mantra, chanting mantra is not easy. Nothing is easy. It's so doggone simple. Mm-hmm. But simplicity is hard. We were singing this morning this song that comes from the Shaker tradition about when true simplicity is found. To bow and to bend, we will not be ashamed, like this. Simplicity is hard, and we will encounter challenges and tests. So in selecting the mantra, it's quite straightforward. Tradition, efficacy, and from the ancient traditions, what are called original languages, such as Sanskrit, Aramaic, Greek, Arabic, like this. They are short. A personal mantra wants to be not more than 10 or 12 syllables. Every now and then there's an exception. In some traditions, the Maha Mantra is used as the personal mantra. Either Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, or the reverse, starting with Hare Rama. So this is an exception, but generally speaking, we would say short enough. And as we get into practice, you'll see why. Because it wants to be internalized. It wants to be repeated mentally, repetitively. And it's great if you can use it with the breath. Now, some will advocate for the Rama mantra, such as Om Shri Ram Ramaya Namaha, or Om Shri Ram Jai Ram, like this. And these mantras are well documented, and we know of particular beings that have used these mantras and have become liberated and share it with the world. And a short version is simply Rama. And that would be repeated when things might be getting a little tough sledding, like this. So this is the selecting of it. You can do it your own. We have the guidance and support to offer. There are other sources as well, but we've been working very diligently to offer you resources and tools to help make this as easy as possible. And then, what are the challenges that we run into? Well, Hari mentions one of them. And that is, what would we recommend you do not do? Well, in searching your personal yoga mantra, it's something for you to do. It's not a group effort. It's not a group thing. Now, you may be inspired by the chanting within a group to select a mantra, but you have everything that you need within you. You have your own capacity to see resonance within you. That's not a group thing. You have the ability to repeat these mantras utilizing the mind, to listen into them as you're repeating it, to feel in the body how it feels. How does it feel here? 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 Where does it seem to center? What does it seem to be doing within me? Where is it working? Do I encounter some resistance in repeating it? Is this resistance something that I need to encounter and go through? These are questions to be taken up within yourself. They're contemplative questions, and these will guide you to your mantra. Group talk won't. Sangha is amazing. Sangha is beautiful. But what mantra do you use, and how does it work for you? And what mantra do you use, and how does it work for you? And then it's not recommended. And then, as Hari says, someone will ask you, what is your mantra? Well, traditionally, we would be told, and you may have heard this already, that we would not share our mantra with anyone. Once we've selected a mantra and begun to practice with it, that we wouldn't share it with anyone. Why? Well, that's an interesting question. And some have gone completely counter to this advice, to tell you the honest to God truth. And I wouldn't say that's wrong. We don't want to make the mantra worldly. We don't want to make it a worldly thing. We don't want to make it something like a rock, or food, or a girl, or a guy, or a group of people. We don't want to give it worldly connotations. The purpose of yoga mantra is always about freedom. Freedom from yourself, freedom for all. So, and you yourself will have doubt arise. You will select a personal mantra. You'll be repeating it. And then you've done all the work, and we recommend you do all the work. My recommendation is you sit with our kirtan book or the website, and you read every one of those mantras. If you have your own tradition and you already know, great. But otherwise, read every one of them. Chant a mala with each of the ones that resonate a little bit. 108 times, repeat it. Do you need to pronounce it perfectly? No, you don't know how to pronounce it perfectly. It's fine. Just put your attention into it. Actually give attention to the repeating of it. Feel into it.
And we actually have some recordings online also.
Oh, thank you.
On each of the mantras, right?
On the same page, which there's a link to in the description.
Yeah. So you can listen to them.
Yes.
And repeat them together. Feel into them. Invariably, you'll end up with one or two different mantras. And then work with those and get to the place where you will know your mantra. Sometimes it'll happen like that. And sometimes, someone will ask Swami, and maybe I will look at them and I'll see the mantra and I'll say, try this. But all I'm saying is try this. Try others too. Put it in the mix. Try it. See. And at some point you will know your mantra. It will come home. Everyone sitting here.
It'll narrow down to one, usually?
Yeah. Sometimes it'll narrow down to 2 or 3, and then the recommendation is, okay, take those 2 or 3 into meditation. And see which one. And if it's still not clear which one, then I still would not suggest making it a worldly discussion, bringing it to your friends and saying, what one do you think? See if you have a spiritual advisor that you trust, and you ask for guidance at that point. And all else fails, send Swami an email, and I'll help you out to the extent that I can. Okay, now you have it. And so now you're practicing with it. And someone says about your mantra, what was your point, Hari?
Should I change it?
Should I change it?
Should I try another one?
No. The short version is no, not recommended. Why? Because these mantras they're all working in the same way, but your personal mantra is cutting through your personal baggage. That's why personal yoga mantra. Each of us are carrying our own baggage, our own stuff, our own story, and the places where I get stuck in my story. And so the mantras are all carrying us to the same place, but my mantra will get me there. Well, I get tired of it after a while. Yeah, boredom is something of the mind. It happens. Invariably, doubt arises, boredom comes. And so what's the recommendation? Well, recommendation is you've made the investment. Each of these mantras that are known to be efficacious, they have a formula. And the formula, something like 2 or 3 million repetitions. What happens? Freedom. Like that. It can be more or less, and we'll discuss more in our section on practice. But better to stick with it when you encounter boredom and continue not to get angry with yourself, not to force yourself, but to encourage yourself to continue with the mantra and give it a real, honest chance. There's this 40-day number, and Swami will always recommend when you take the personal mantra and you make the commitment to practice, commit yourself to 40 days. Don't commit yourself to forever. But commit yourself to work with it for 40 days. And then after 40 days, then you see. Then you see if it needs to change like that. Rarely would we want to change it. Okay. Have we covered what we need to cover in terms of how to select?
Yeah, I think so.
What do we think?
Yes.
Okay. And if you have suggestions, then we're not adverse to another video or adding another video or any of these. So if you have suggestions, please note them here or reach out in terms of something that's helpful for you in terms of selecting a mantra. But honor the traditions. Look for efficacy. Mantras that work. Make a relationship with a saint. There's so many of the saints that have writings, teachings that are accessible to us. And these stories of the different mantras and practices are quite deep and quite profound and quite broad. You're likely to find a saint with your story or a story that's very similar to your story. And so this will be helpful very much on the path in terms of selecting as well. And practice, shop in the beginning, and then make your commitment to the mantra. Keep it as your own personal jewel for your own personal practice. Give it a good chance. And then our next video will be discussing the practice, diving into the different options for practice of Japa Yoga. Okay, let's close with about Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.